The fires on Calros 9 were still burning, but the fear was gone. Commander Lyra Voss stood near the wreckage of a Zarkith war machine. The sky above her was now full of Earth's ships, steady, shining, powerful. After days of darkness, Calros 9 had light again. But Lyra's eyes didn't rest on the sky. She was looking at the stars beyond. "We beat them back," she said, "but they'll be back. Unless we end this. Out there." Admiral Work's voice came through her comm. "Commander Voss, I need you aboard Liberty's Fist. We're taking the fight to them." Inside the Liberty's Fist, the war room buzzed with energy. Tactical maps lit up the dark chamber. Every screen showed alien territory, Zarkith space. Admiral Rourke stood tall in front of his officers. Beside him, Lyra Voss wore clean armor, still scared from Calros 9. "Operation Iron Storm begins now," Rourke said. "The Zarkith hit us where we were weak. Now we hit them where they think they're strong." He pointed at the map. "This is Nest Prime. Their home. Their hive. We've never gone this deep before." A few officers shifted in their seats. One asked, "Sir, is this a strike or a suicide mission?" Rourke didn't blink. "It's a message." Lyra stepped forward. Her voice was calm and sharp. "Calros 9 was just one colony. If we don't strike back, they'll burn the rest. Earth doesn't run. Earth doesn't hide. We fight." The room went quiet. Then came the answer. "Yes, Mom." Aboard the fleet, thousands of soldiers prepared for war. Giant carriers loaded tanks, mechs, drones. Fighters were refueled. Weapons checked. Armor sealed. On Calros 9, the people stood together, watching the ships rise into the sky. Children waved. Old veterans saluted. One small boy shouted, "Give 'em hell." The fleet left orbit in perfect formation. 50 ships of every size, engines blazing like fire. Commander Lyra stood on the bridge of the Iron Vow, her new command ship. Sergeant Kell, now back in action, stood beside her. "Feels good to go after them for once." She nodded. Time to make them afraid. 3 days later, the fleet reached Zarkith space. It was nothing like human systems. The planets were dark. The suns were weak. Giant asteroids floated near black holes. Everything felt wrong. In the middle of it all was Nest Prime, a huge living structure built into a dead planet. It looked like a mix of metal and bone. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Ships flew in and out like insects. Lyra stared at it through the screen. "How many of those things are down there?" Kell answered, "Too many." Admiral Work's voice came through. "Strike teams, begin descent." Earth's fighters launched first. Sleek jets dived toward the alien surface. Zarkith ships rose to stop them. The sky became a storm of light. Then the main force dropped. Giant troop carriers burst through the clouds, dropping mechs and tanks onto the alien world. Explosions rocked the planet. Railguns fired from orbit. Ground shook. Skies roared. Lyra and her squad landed in the heart of it. They stepped out into a nightmare. Twisted towers, black ooze, giant alien bones sticking out of the ground. And waiting for them, the Zarkith. Thousands. They roared and charged. Lyra didn't flinch. "For Earth," she shouted. Her team opened fire. Plasma lit the battlefield. Rockets hit the ground. Earth mechs stomped forward, their weapons shaking the hills. The Zarkith fought like demons, but Earth's fury was greater. Deep inside the hive, Earth Marines planted charges. Engineers hacked alien systems. Drones mapped tunnels. They were going for the core, the Zarkith Queen. Admiral Rourke gave the final order. "All units, strike the heart." Lyra's squad pushed through heavy fire. She led from the front, her rifle blazing, her voice lifting her soldiers. "Keep going. The core's close." Suddenly, the ground cracked open. A Zarkith beast, the size of a building, rose from below. It roared, and the earth shook. Soldiers backed away. Weapons failed to dent it. Lyra looked up, breathing hard. "We need air support." The comm buzzed. "On the way." A roar came from the sky. Earth's Titan-class bomber, Heaven's Wrath. It dropped one single bomb. A pulse of white light. The beast vanished in fire. Lyra's team moved forward again, hearts pounding but unshaken. Finally, they'd reached the core chamber. It pulsed with alien light. Giant egg sacs lined the walls. In the center sat the queen, massive, cruel, watching. Lyra raised her weapon. For Kauros 9. For Earth. They fired everything they had. The chamber exploded in fire. The queen screamed and went silent. From orbit, Admiral Rourke watched the entire hive collapse in on itself. A shockwave rippled across the planet. He spoke calmly. Message delivered. The galaxy had heard Earth's warning loud and clear. For now, there was peace. But peace was never forever. Commander Lyra Voss stood on the deck of the Iron Vow, looking out into the vast darkness of space. The stars twinkled cold and distant. Somewhere out there, new dangers were stirring. "Commander," came a sharp voice from behind. Lieutenant Mera crossed the room, her face serious. "We've detected strange signals near the edge of explored space. Unknown ships, moving fast." Lyra turned, her heart tightening. "Unknown ships." Mara nodded. "No transponders, no IDs, but they are large, and they're headed this way." In the shadows of a distant star system, ships unlike any Earth had ever seen slipped through asteroid belts and dark nebulae. They were sleek, sharp, and silent. Their weapons gleamed with strange energy. Their crews spoke in a language no human had heard before. Back on the Iron Vow, alarms blared. Sensors picked up the incoming fleet. Lyra gripped the railing, feeling the weight of command. "We thought the Zarkith were the worst," she muttered. "Looks like we were wrong." Admiral Rourke joined her on the bridge. "Prepare the fleet," he ordered. "This is a new fight, one we can't lose." Lyra nodded. "We'll show them what Earth means." Meanwhile, the mysterious fleet watched Earth's approach. A cold voice spoke on their command bridge. "They rise fast," it said, "but they will fall faster." The galaxy was about to learn. Humanity's fight had only just begun. The new enemy fleet moved fast. They came without warning. Earth's sensors screamed alarms as the alien ships pierced the outer defenses. Commander Lyra Voss stood ready on the bridge of the Iron Vow. Her eyes were sharp, her hands steady on the controls. "This is it," she said. "The moment they thought would never come." The first shots fired from space. Energy beams clashed with Earth's shields. Explosions rocked ships. The silence of space was shattered by the roar of battle. The enemy ships were unlike anything Earth had fought before. Faster, smarter, and deadly. But humanity was ready. Fighter squadrons launched in swarms, weaving through the chaos. Earth's railguns fired relentless volleys, tearing through alien hulls. Lyra's voice was calm but fierce. "Hold the line. Protect the fleet. We fight for every star and every world." Her squadron dove into the thick of the fight. Missiles flew. Laser blasts filled the void. Every second was a test of skill and courage. Below, Earth's ground forces prepared for the worst. The alien fleet planned to strike Earth itself. But Earth was not alone. Admiral Rourke watched the battle from the command bridge. "Our allies are coming," he said. Suddenly, new ships appeared on the horizon, gleaming silver, moving with purpose. They were from the Galactic Coalition, an alliance of many species who had joined Earth after the Zarkith War. Together, humans and allies fought side by side. The tide began to turn. The alien fleet faltered. On the Iron Vow, Lyra watched as the enemy flagship exploded in a blinding flash. "We did it," she breathed. But the war was far from over. As the battle ended, Lyra looked to the stars. "This is only the beginning," she said. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity's story was just getting started. The sky cracked open. Everyone on Calros 9 looked up. Even the Zarkith paused. Their claws stopped scratching. Their weapons lowered. Above them, the clouds glowed bright blue. A sound like thunder rolled across the sky. Deep, powerful, growing louder with every second. Commander Lyra Voss blinked through the smoke. She had seen many battles in her life, but she had never seen the sky change like this. Jace screamed into the comm, "Commander, you're not going to believe this. They're here. Earth's fleet is here." Lyra stared upward, stunned. Out of the clouds came massive shadows, ships huge and dark, with shining silver hulls. They broke through the atmosphere like gods from old stories. At the front was the largest ship anyone on Calros 9 had ever seen. The Liberty's Fist, the flagship of Earth's first fleet. It was shaped like a flying fortress. Hundreds of cannons lined its sides. Fighter jets launched from its wings. It moved like a mountain wrapped in fire. Behind it came dozens of other warships. Frigates, destroyers, stealth bombers, and troop carriers. Earth had come. The Zarkith swarms on the ground roared in confusion. They had never faced Earth's full power. They had only hunted weak colonies before. Now, they were the prey. Lyra's comm crackled to life. "This is Admiral Rourke, commanding Liberty's Fist. All ground units, hold positions. We've got you in sight." Lyra couldn't help it. She laughed, even through the pain and blood. "Took your time, Admiral." Rourke's voice was calm and cold. "Ma'am, we move fast when someone threatens Earth's own." High above the planet, space lit up like a war zone. Earth's fleet didn't wait. They attacked the Zarkith ships in orbit with everything they had. Beams of light cut through enemy hulls. Missiles streaked across the stars. The sky turned into fire. One by one, the Zarkith ships were destroyed. Some exploded in giant fireballs. Others broke apart and fell into the atmosphere. The Liberty's Fist launched drop pods and bombers toward the surface. On the ground, the Zarkith began to retreat, but it was too late. Jet fighters screamed down from the sky, firing at alien squads. Earth Marines landed in armored drop pods, smashing into the battlefield like meteors. They jumped out with heavy weapons and exosuits, tearing through enemy lines. Lyra's soldiers cheered as support arrived. Drones flew overhead, firing on retreating enemies. Medics rushed to wounded fighters. The air was full of life and sound again. But this time, it was Earth's power, not the enemy's. Sergeant Kell pointed upward. "We're not dying today." Lyra smiled, weak but proud. "No, we're taking our home back." She raised her rifle and moved forward with her troops, side by side with the arriving Marines. They pushed the Zarkith back from the shelter gate, back into the fire and chaos they had brought. Inside the command tower, Jace watched it all on screen. He saw Earth's ships move like sharks through the sky. He saw Zarkith motherships falling like broken toys. He couldn't stop smiling. "I knew someone heard us. I knew it." Above the planet, Admiral Rourke stood on the bridge of the Liberty's Fist, watching the battle from a giant viewing window. "Status?" he asked. "Zarkith fleet down to 20%, his officer replied. "Ground forces are in full retreat." "Good," Rourke said. "Send this message across the stars. No human world stands alone." He turned to his second and prepped the ground strike. "I want their main nest erased." Back on Calros 9, Lyra's unit reached the old mining fields where the Zarkith had landed their main drop zone. It was filled with alien gear, nests, and war machines. Now, it was about to become a crater. A shadow passed overhead. Then came the sound. Low, growing, endless. A giant shape blocked the sky again. It was Earth's orbital railgun platform, descending from the Liberty's Fist. Its cannon pointed down. "Brace!" Lyra shouted. The blast that followed lit the whole valley in white. Everything in the Zarkith nest was gone in a second. Nothing remained but fire and silence. After hours of battle, the last alien screams faded into quiet. Earth's flag was raised on Calros 9 once again. Lyra stood in the middle of the battlefield. Her armor was cracked. Her body ached, but her eyes were clear. She looked up at the sky, now filled with friendly ships. "I knew they'd come," she whispered. Behind her, the surviving colonists came out of the shelters. Children looked up in wonder. Parents wept with joy. The nightmare was over. But the war, that was just beginning. The sky over Calros 9 burned red. Zarkith dropships screamed through the clouds, crashing down like thunder. The ground shook with each landing. The aliens didn't waste time. Their doors opened, and monsters poured out. Commander Lyra Voss fired her rifle from behind a broken wall. She was covered in dust, her armor cracked, but her hands were steady. "Hold the line," she shouted. "Don't let them reach the shelter." Her soldiers fought like lions. They used every turret, every drone, every bullet they had. But the Zarkith just kept coming. Tall, armored beasts with glowing red eyes and blades for arms. They moved fast and killed faster. Sergeant Kell was pinned behind a burning vehicle. "They're pushing through Sector 3, he called. Lyra growled into her comm. "Fall back to the second line. We hold them there." As her team moved, one soldier, Private Anya, was caught in the open. A Zarkith leaped at her. She screamed. Lyra didn't think. She ran forward, tackled the alien, and drove her knife through its neck. Black blood sprayed across the ground. She pulled Anya up. "Move. No heroes today. We all make it or none of us do." Inside the command tower, young technician Jace watched the chaos on his screens. The colony's defenses were falling fast. Every camera showed more flames, more Zarkith. "Come on, Earth," he muttered. "Where are you?" He tried boosting the signal again. He used every trick he knew. Static. Silence. No reply. Then something strange. A flicker. A faint signal. Far away, but real. He jumped from his seat. "Commander, I think someone's out there. I got a ping." Lyra answered over the comm. "Can you talk to them?" "No. The aliens are jamming us hard. But it's not noise. It's a pattern. Someone is listening. Keep trying. If they're coming, we need them fast." Back on the battlefield, the second defense line was under attack. The Zarkith moved like a flood. Their weapons tore through walls. Their claws ripped through metal. Human soldiers fought with courage, but they were being pushed back step by step. Lyra fired shot after shot. She shouted orders. She pulled wounded soldiers to safety. She never stopped moving. Suddenly, the ground burst open beside her. A massive Zarkith warrior rose from the smoke, taller than a tank, armor like black steel, eyes glowing with rage. Lyra raised her rifle, but it was too late. The beast slammed her across the field. She hit the ground hard. Pain exploded through her chest. Her vision blurred. The monster walked toward her, slow and deadly. She reached for her knife, ready to make her last stand. Then a loud boom filled the air. The alien stopped. A rocket hit the beast from behind. It screamed and fell in pieces. Sergeant Kell stood nearby, launcher smoking. "Still breathing, Commander." "Barely," she groaned, smiling. He helped her up. "Sector 2 is gone. We need to fall back to the shelter entrance." Lyra nodded. "Let's make our last stand count." The last line of defense was the shelter gate. Behind it, over 5,000 civilians were hiding. Mothers, fathers, children, elderly, all waiting, all praying. If the gate fell, everyone would die. Lyra's team set up barricades. They placed mines, aimed guns, and waited. Then, the Zarkith came. Hundreds of them. The battle turned into chaos. Explosions shook the earth. Smoke covered everything. Gunfire never stopped. Soldiers screamed. Aliens roared. Lyra's voice was hoarse from shouting. Don't give up. If they break through, it's over. One by one, her team fell. Some injured, some gone. Jace called on the comm. Commander, the signal is getting stronger. I think help is close. She could barely hear him. The gate was shaking. Zarkith were pounding on it. It wouldn't hold much longer. Lyra looked around. So few left. So little ammo. Still, she stood tall. This is it, she whispered. She raised her rifle and aimed at the door. If this was her last moment, she would die standing. Then, a sound. A deep, low rumble filled the air. Lyra paused. The soldiers looked up. The Zarkith stopped moving. The sky outside the bunker flashed, then roared. The sky burned above Elaris 3. Huge alien ships floated in the sky like monsters from a nightmare. They fired beams of blue fire that melted metal and turned buildings into dust. The people of the colony screamed and ran, but there was nowhere to run. Governor Lyra Hale stood inside the command center, watching the destruction on the screen. Her face was pale, and her hands were shaking, but she refused to leave. We sent the signal, her aide said. We sent it to every nearby system. Someone will come. Someone has to come. Lyra didn't answer. She had already sent the distress call 5 times in the last 2 hours. Every time, she got the same response. Silence. The Kalthor had come without warning. No message, no demands, no reason. Just death. Their ships were black and smooth like knives in space. Their ground troops were tall, armored creatures with glowing red eyes and weapons that made human soldiers explode in one hit. Elaris 3 was a peaceful colony. Farmers, teachers, families. There were no real weapons here, just a few local guards and old defense drones. The orbital cannons had lasted 10 minutes. Then the aliens took control of the skies. Now, they were coming down. Lyra turned to the screen showing the city. Fires spread across the rooftops. People ran between the buildings. Some carried children. Some carried rifles. But it was no use. The Kalthor were too strong. They're breaking into the north sector. Someone shouted. We lost contact with the shelters. Lyra looked around the room. Her staff was scared. But they stayed. She was proud of them. How many civilians left? She asked. Over 30,000, said her aide. Most are in bunkers, but some didn't make it in time. Lyra's heart broke. These people were her responsibility. She had promised them safety. And now, they were dying. She turned to the communicator one more time. This is Governor Lyra Hale of Elaris 3, she said, her voice firm but tired. We are under attack by unknown alien forces. We have no defense left. We are being wiped out. Please, if anyone can hear this, help us. Help us before it's too late. She ended the message and looked at the stars on the screen. Distant, cold. Then, a new sound filled the room, an alert tone. It wasn't from the Kalthor. One of the officers gasped. Governor, we received a signal. It's encrypted in Terran military code. Lyra rushed to the console. Her eyes scanned the message. Message received. Earth fleet en route. ETA. 36 hours. Hold the line. You are not alone. Lyra stared at the words. She read them twice, then again. Her heart began to beat faster. Earth heard us, she whispered. Her staff cheered. Some cried, but the celebration didn't last long. Governor, said the tactical officer, Kalthor ground units are moving toward the main bunker. If they reach it, we'll lose half the population. Lyra's smile faded. Then we stop them. We buy time. Earth is coming, but we must survive until then. She turned to her team. Sound the emergency call. Gather every guard, every drone, every civilian who can fight. We hold the spaceport. We protect the bunkers. We don't run. Yes, Governor. All across the colony, The last defenders prepared. Old drones were pulled from storage. Workers grabbed tools and turned them into weapons. Mothers handed their children to neighbors and picked up rifles. Teenagers helped carry ammo. This was not a battle they could win, but it was a battle they had to fight. In the dark sky, Kelthor ships dropped more soldiers to the ground. The enemy marched forward, cold and silent. But inside the bunkers and broken buildings, humanity stood ready. Governor Hale walked to the spaceport wall, rifle in hand. Her clothes were dusty. Her face was marked with pain, but her eyes were bright with fire. She looked up at the sky. "They left us alone," she said quietly. "But Earth is coming. We just have to live long enough to see them." Behind her, the people of Elaris 3 prepared for their last stand. And above, far away, deep in the void, the engines of Earth's war fleet began to glow. Back on Calros 9, the stars twinkled calmly. No more threats. No more red skies. The people rebuilt. And when they looked up, they no longer felt fear. Because now they knew. If you strike one human world, you wake the fury of them all. The ruins of Nest Prime smoldered beneath the cold stars. The Zarkith Empire was broken. Their queen was dead. Their ships destroyed. But Earth's fleet did not celebrate. They knew this was only the beginning. Commander Lyra Voss stood on the deck of the Iron Vow, staring out into space. Her face was tired, but her eyes burned with fire. "We sent a message," she said softly. "No one threatens Earth or her people and lives." Admiral Rourke joined her. "That message won't be forgotten. The galaxy is listening now." Across Earth's space, transmissions went out. To colonies, to allies, to enemies. A clear warning. Humanity stands ready. Attack any world we protect. Face the full might of Earth. We do not hide. We do not surrender. We fight. And we win. On Calros 9, life slowly returned. Families rebuilt homes. Farmers returned to fields. Children played in fields once scared by battle. Lyra visited the shelter where survivors had gathered. A little girl, no more than 8, looked up at her and asked, "Commander, will the aliens come back?" Lyra smiled gently. "If they do, we'll be ready. Earth won't let them win." But deep in the void, far beyond known space, something stirred. Alien watchers had seen the battle. They saw Earth's power. They saw humanity's fury. And they took note. Back on the Iron Vow, Lyra stood beside Admiral Rourke during the fleet's celebration. "Calros 9 is safe," Rourke said, "but the galaxy is changing. We have enemies, yes, but also allies. It's time we reach out to build new friendships." Lyra nodded. "To show the universe that humanity is strong and that we are not alone." Earth's warships prepared for their next mission, not one of war, but of hope. They would explore new worlds, protect the weak, and build alliances. But if any enemy dared threaten a human world again, they would meet the wrath of Earth. As the stars sparkled beyond the Iron Vow, Lyra whispered to herself, "This is only the start. Humanity will rise, and no one will stand in our way."